You're listening to Sacks in the Basement, a production of the Broadcast Basement Limited, where every show is 30 minutes of good and comes from a basement bar on the south side of Chicago. Pull up a stool, pour a cold one, and join us right now for Sacks in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at sacksinthebasement.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sacks in the Basement's presentation of a White Sox simulated season. My name is Chris Lanuti, and before we head out to Cleveland, to myself doing the broadcast, let's take a look at the opening series that the White Sox had against the Royals and where the team sits at this very moment. And it's an interesting tale when you look at how players are doing right out of the gate. Eloy Jimenez, 300 average with a 1,200 slugging and an OPS of 1617. That's 1.617. Tim Anderson's got an OPS of 1.083. Jose Abreu with the 1.311. All of them playing very well. Edwin Encarnacion has also done well early on, and Luis Robert playing well out of the gate. Jimenez is second in Major League Baseball with 3 home runs currently, trailing Rafael Devers, who already has 4. But on the other side of the coin, Yoan Moncada in the 2-hole has yet to reach base. Not a walk, not a hit, although he does have an RBI. Yasmani Grandal struggling with a 182 average. He will move to the designated hitter role today as James McCann gets the start. The White Sox also not seeing very much production out of second base early on in the season. Leury Garcia hitting 143, and Danny Mendick, who got the start yesterday, was an offer. Pitching-wise, it has been an up-and-down thing. Dallas Keuchel had a great game too, but Lucas Giolito and Dylan Cease struggled early, and while the White Sox were able to overcome on opening day, Cease put his team down early and they were unable to climb back yesterday, and that's why the White Sox sit at 2-1. Out of the bullpen, though, the story has been Jimmy Cordero, Aaron Bummer. If the White Sox bullpen continues to play the way they're playing right now, we're going to win a lot of ball games. Today's matchup, Gio Gonzalez finally pitches a game for the Chicago White Sox after a long Major League career and after being traded away by the team twice. Aaron Civale stands on the mound for the 3-0 Indians. We head out to Progressive Field for Game 4 of the season and Game 1 of a 3-game set for the White Sox and Indians. It is time for White Sox Simulated Baseball, brought to you by Cork and Kerry at the Park. Now is the time to go on Grubhub and get yourself some Cork and Kerry at the Park. Pour yourself a beer and sit back and listen to a broadcast that will last no more likely than 90 minutes. It's White Sox, Indians, next on Sox in the Basement, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at sacksinthebasement.com.
Hey, this is Acoustic Mike from Broadcast Basement, and you're listening to Sox in the Basement with Chris and his buddy Dave. I did the Broadcast Basement with Chris for 10 years, and nobody gave me a show. I'd leave if I had anything else to do with my life.
Remember, the Broadcast Basement is available everywhere podcasts can be found and always at broadcastbasement.com. And welcome to Progressive Field as the 2-1 White Sox travel for the first time in 2020 to Cleveland to take on division rivals and currently the first place Cleveland Indians. Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Lanuti. This broadcast simulated on MLB The Show 20, brought to you by Cork and Kerry at the Park over at 33rd in Princeton. Currently not open, but they will be soon, and you want them to have the doors wide open and ready for you. Make sure you order something on Grubhub today from Cork and Kerry at the Park. Aaron Civale takes the mound, a 2.34 earned run average last year with 10 starts. He was one of those pitchers called upon when there were so many injuries to that initial starting rotation that the Indians brought out, and he performed well. As Tim Anderson steps in and we're ready for the first pitch of the game here from Cleveland, and the pitch on the way. And that is high, but called a strike on a cut fastball. And this game is underway. First pitch at 6:10 Eastern time, and the pitch on the way. This one is swung on and put between first and second, rolling out into right field. And TA continues his early start that has been hot and stands on first base to lead off the game with a single. Little bit of an outside pitch, still catches the strike zone, right in his wheelhouse. And right away, Yoan Moncada steps up, still playing at third, still batting second. Ricky Renteria saying before the game that although Yoan has gone 0-4 for the first 3 games of the season, maybe getting away, getting on the road with his friends and his family, really, which is his baseball team, will get his head a little right. And he didn't want to overreact and pull him out of any role that he thought he was ready for throughout all of spring training. And certainly Yoan earned it last year, as that one is inside, and he is 1-1. He earned that last year with the performance that he put out, even collecting an MVP vote, as that is thrown over the first base, checking Anderson back. 1-1 the count. Moncada stands in. The pitch on the way. And that one is fouled off down the third base line. 1-2 the count. The pitcher resets, and the pitch. Swung on and missed on a low 93-mile-an-hour sinker, and Moncada goes down with yet another strikeout early on in this season. Again, chasing something out of the zone, something that is not normally his way, but is something that has been happening here early on this year as Jose Abreu steps in with Anderson on first, and that one's low and outside for ball 1. Abreu steps in, hitting .545 early on this season. With 3 games under his belt, the runner goes. Anderson heading to second. The throw down, he is safe just underneath the tag. That was a close bang-bang tag right there. I don't know if the Indians will go to the review, but I'm looking at my review, and he gets in there on a head-first slide. That ball arrives right after his fingertips reached the bag, and it still took another second to get that glove back. He stands on second base, 1-1 the count, with Abreu at the plate. The pitch on the way, swung on, line shot to first. It bounces off the ground, so it is not caught in the air. First baseman will tag first for the second out, and Anderson will advance 90 feet and stands on third with 2 outs. And Eloy Jimenez, already with 3 home runs on the season. He had a double as well. He hit well in that series. And he looks like the kind of guy that could bring 40 bombs out easy in the 2020 season, the way he started off. As that one is outside, misses the corner of the plate, 1-0. 2 outs, Anderson on third base after a leadoff single. As I mentioned before, Savale, he was not part of the plan for last year in the rotation for the Indians, and had to step in when you see Clevenger get injured, Kluber go down, but in his 10 starts, pitched extremely well. And we always talk about on Sox in the Basement how if you have a whip under 1.30, you're going to be an effective starting pitcher, and that's exactly what that young man did. And that's why he is in the rotation now as their fourth guy in the rotation, and facing the White Sox today as a member of the regular rotation, as that one's inside, ball 4. Jimenez will trot down to first base, first and third with 2 outs. James Fox from Future Sox will join us here in an inning or so when we get a moment to talk to him, and he's going to break down everything going on in Major League Baseball, including the deal between Major League Baseball teams as to when the season will actually start in the real world, the agreement on the MLB draft for this year, and what it means for now and for the future, and what you might see that's different this year in Major League Baseball if they get to play, as Grandal smacks one into the right center field gap that's going to get over the head of the right fielder and bounce around. Anderson will score. Jimenez coming all the way around, play at the plate, and he is safe underneath the tag. And the White Sox have a 2-0 lead on a Yasmani Grandal 2-run double off the right center field wall. He comes right up and smacks one. Jimenez and Anderson score. I don't know if Jimenez scores on that play, except it landed right where the wall met the warning track and stuck. It did not bounce back off the wall as was expected by the outfielder, who then had to run out and get it as James McCann steps in today. He is the catcher. Grandal is the designated hitter. So Grandal is a DH, hits a double and scores 2, and James McCann, the catcher today, is up at the plate, and he fouls this one down the third base line, and he is 1-1. White Sox quickly scoring. This is the 3rd time in 4 games they have put up multiple runs to start off a ball game. 4 runs in the first inning on opening day, 2 runs in the first inning. Game 2 against the Royals, 2 runs here against the Indians as they kick off this series. Crowd has quieted down a little bit as the Sox have done some damage, but James McCann chases 3 straight pitches, and he is struck out. And that is not a good start to his time at the plate in 2020. But the White Sox get 2 on 2 hits, and the Indians are coming up. Gio Gonzalez, 17 starts last year with a 3-2 record, an ERA of 3.50, only over 87 innings. He had a whip of 1.29, But I think for White Sox fans, just amazing to see him up here in the bigs, pitching a game for the team that originally drafted him, traded him, reacquired him, traded him, and never let him come up here and pitch. And now here he is at 34 years old, I believe is what his age is. And he's pitching to Cesar Hernandez of the Cleveland Indians. And this is his first pitch in the majors for the White Sox. And it's going to be a ground ball past a diving Anderson in the left field. And right away, the Indians have a base runner. You know, Gio, you don't want to prove Kenny Williams right. He traded you away twice. Let's lock down this inning and have a good game. Detroit over Kansas City already today, 7-2. In the battle of two teams that will most likely be at the bottom of the standings in the AL Central, as that one's a strike high, but still for a strike. Baltimore-Boston, no score so far in that game. As Mercado steps in for the Indians, and he's quickly 2-0. No score Cincinnati-Toronto early on. Runner on first, no outs, 2-0 the count. The pitch. That one is sent out into the left center field gap, and that is going to bound to the wall. Indians have some speed on the base paths at second and third as Mercado hits a double. And Gio Gonzalez, with a 2-run lead staked to him, gives up a single and a double to the first two batters he faces. And the Indians are in business. And neither one of those balls were anywhere near a player on the White Sox where they could have made a play. I know Anderson gave a good diving attempt on that first one, but that would have been incredible if he would have been able to pull that off. As Francisco Lindor in the 3 spot comes up to the plate. This young man, he went out and played his butt off in 2019, and so far here in 2020, he's got 2 home runs, hitting .455 in the 3 spot over 3 games. As that one is low for a ball, so at this point, Gonzalez has thrown 4 balls and given up 2 hits over 6 pitches, and he's got Lindor 2-0. The pitch. And that one's fouled off for the first strike that Gonzalez has had, even though it was off a strike. Mercado on second, Hernandez on third for the Indians, no outs, the pitch on the way. And that is a called strike. Ricky Holiday behind the plate. The umpire for today's game has a fashionable mustache, and he's showing it off here at Progressive Field as Gio Gonzalez with the pitch. And that one is grounded to Abreu. He will throw to Gonzalez, concede the runner. 1 run in, 1 out. Runner on second advances 90 feet over to third and is 2-1 White Sox. The ball dragged Abreu towards second base, and he must have felt coming back home where a tag would have had to be applied was probably not the best idea in that situation. Your pitcher's been having a problem as Fermil Reyes steps in for the Indians. He was acquired in the offseason. If I'm not mistaken, spent some time with the San Diego Padres before coming over here in a deal. He's their 4-hitter on this team. He couldn't find the field for half of last season. But the Indians have plans for him. 0-1 the count, the pitch on the way. Ground ball over the head of Gonzalez, over second base, and we have a tie ball game on a just weak hit up the middle that somehow went over 2 gloves and finds its way. That's a seeing eye single if I ever saw one. Gonzalez threw his glove up. Leury Garcia had his glove out. Both of them miss it. Runner standing on first, and we have a tie ball game here with 1 out. As pitch number 12 from Gonzalez is chopped to Abreu, foul. Carlos Santana standing in right now. He's had a few hits this season. He's hit 1 home run so far in his opening series. And the pitch on the way. And that one is chopped to Moncada, who flips to second. Garcia around the horn they go. 5-4-3, and the White Sox are out of the inning with some nifty defensive work by Yoan Moncada, who dives out towards third base and then throws from one leg across his body to Leury Garcia, who gets taken out at second base and still makes the throw to Abreu. And the White Sox are out of the first and move to the top of the second with Nomar Mazara coming to the plate. Mazara hit .268 with 19 home runs and 66 RBIs last season. Hitting .200 right now. He has 2 hits on the year with 2 RBIs. They're going to shift Mazara, as we've seen other teams do so far. The Royals had this same shift on, putting the shortstop directly behind second base and the third baseman over at short and moving the second baseman out into short right field. He hits this one into the right center gap to the wall, and that will hit off the wall. Mazara will trot into second. We got a softball game early here, as after the White Sox score 2 and the Indians answer back, Nomar Mazara comes up, and it's his first double of the year off the right center field wall. We got the 4th guy in the rotation for both of these teams Cy Young ain't making an appearance today as Luis Robert steps in with Mazara on second. And the pitch. That's a cut fastball fouled off down the first base line. Robert with a towering shot and several hits in the opening series. And this young man is expected to play for the White Sox for a long, long time. He also made an amazing play in the outfield in Game 3 yesterday against the Royals, where he went over the wall to bring back a home run. Unfortunately, the result ended up as the first loss for the Chicago White Sox. Mazara with a lead, the pitch on the way, and that one's fouled off, and he is 1-2. Cubs lead the Pirates right now 6-0 as the pitch is on the way, and that's inside 2-2 on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Mazara doing a lot of motion out there at second base. The pitch on the way, and that's outside for ball 3 to Luis Robert. Leury Garcia, the second baseman for today's game, is on deck, and then we'll get back to the top of the order. The pitch, and that one is popped down the first base line. Santana underneath it, and he will make the catch for the first out of the inning. So on a full count, Robert pops it along the first base line, and he is the first out of the inning. And Leury Garcia, who had yesterday off until late in the game when he came in, steps in now, again starting at second base. He's had 3 of the 4 starts at second, with Danny Mendick getting 1 so far in this young season. He swings at a 93-mile-an-hour sinker out of the zone for strike 1. The pitch on the way from Savali. That is outside on a cut fastball, 1-1. I see Mazara dancing over there, but he's not the kind of speed demon, at least when it comes to stolen bases, that you would expect to go second to third here. You'd be running yourself out of the possibility of getting a run, and especially with Tim Anderson on deck, and the chances of a double play being slim to none here, as it's 1-2 the count. Pitch number 31 on the way, and that is fouled off down the third base line. Will reset at 1-2. Beautiful day out here. James Fox from Future Sox going to come on and talk about what's really going on in the world of Major League Baseball, as the Baseball and the Players Association struck a deal. This one is down the line over first base, and that's going to get cut off before it gets to the corner. Garcia will hold because of how quickly the right fielder got over there, but Mazara will come around and score easily. And the White Sox regain the lead 3-2 on a ground ball down the first base line that hugged the line, went over the top of the bag, and rolled out to right field, but was so slow as it got out there on the grass, it was able to be cut off. He's only able to get a single out of that one, as Tim Anderson steps in and takes ball 1 inside at the knees. Garcia with a lead. The Sox have stolen 2 bases so far this season, as this one is down the left field line over the head of the third baseman. It's going to rattle around the corner. Garcia on his horse in the third to throw in. He is safe underneath the tag. Anderson stayed at first on that play. I'm surprised he's not in the second, especially with the throw coming in the third. Somehow still standing on first base, as the pitching coach will head out for the Indians to talk to Aaron Savali, as there is 1 out and runners on first and third, and Yoan Moncada comes to the plate. Moncada still on the snide. You'd love to see him get his second RBI, but you'd love for it to come with a hit. Anderson leading at first. Garcia at third. Checks the runner. The pitch on the way. Anderson's running the second base. They're going to throw down. He is safe. Garcia remains at third, although he danced along the line and thought about going on a delayed steal from third to home. He does not. And now we're second and third, and that was a ball to Moncada. So he's 1-0 with 1 out here in the top of the second. Sox aggressive on the base paths with 2 stolen bases so far in this game. And Moncada up there 2-0. And feeling a little less pressure, I would think, now, because a double play is not going to end this inning. Likely. It'd be hard for that to happen when you don't have a runner over on first base. But we've seen it happen before. 2-0 the count. Savale, pitch number 37 on the way. And that is a called strike at the knees. 2-1 on Yoan Moncada. The pitch. Checks it up. Called strike. 2-2 the count. Moncada stands in there. You just want to see him make some contact and get something going here. That pitch is low and outside. He does not chase. 3-2. It has been the thing that has happened to him early on this season, where he checks up on a pitch that is actually in the zone that he thinks is going to tail away, and then he doesn't trust himself, and he strikes out on strike 3. You can see the Indians have seen the tape on that and tried it there, but it didn't work. The pitch is outside for ball 4, and the bases are loaded with Chicago White Sox in their road grays for Jose Abreu, with Eloy Jimenez on deck and 1 out here in the top of the second, and a 3-2 lead for the White Sox. And now would be the time that I would love to see Jose Abreu's first home run of the year. That would be special here at Progressive Field, for me at least. Although I know you have to listen to it at home. We are looking to eventually get you some video of some of these games. Stick tight with us. Don Paul, a guest later on in the week, is that first pitch is a strike. James Fox later on in this game from Future Sox. As the next pitch is a cut fastball for a strike. 2 strikes, both taken by Abreu. I don't know what he's looking for, but now you got to get the bat off the shoulders because you're 0-2 after taking strike 1 and strike 2. The base is loaded, the pitch on the way. That is low in the dirt, blocked, almost got by the catcher to the backstop. That would have brought in a run. They'll reset 1-2. The pitch. Swung on and chopped foul off the rear end of the third base coach. And the next pitch is on the way. Check swing low. Did not go. Ball 2. 2-2 the count. Garcia on third, Anderson on second, Moncada on first. And Abreu at the plate, the pitch. And that one is chopped on the third base line, and that is foul. Very close to being a fair ball down the third base line there. They'll reset in the pitch. Swung on and popped in the right field, very shallow. Garcia's going to try for home. The play at the plate, and he is out. That is a bad send. That is a bad send right there. That was a shallow fly ball, and you have Eloy Jimenez standing there in the on-deck circle, and he's been red hot. And the White Sox run themselves out of the second inning with the bases loaded on a short pop-out to right field. He was out by 10 feet. Catcher caught it, got to stand up and tag him. As Jose Ramirez comes in, he's 3 for 6 lifetime against Gio Gonzalez here in the bottom of the second. In the third inning, we are going to bring you James Fox from Future Sox. Talk about what's going on in Major League Baseball. Players Association and MLB came up with basically benchmarks for if the season starts at different points this year and if the season does not happen, and also worked out some details on how the draft is going to go. And I think James is going to explain to us not only the ramifications for this year, but what it's going to mean for the future of baseball. Because the owners have taken advantage of a situation here and positioned themselves well before the next collective bargaining agreement with this deal. 3-1 the count right now to Jose Ramirez, who's notoriously a slow starter. Last couple years, he started off hitting under the Mendoza line at 200 until he gets until about mid-May to June, and then he just starts lighting it up. And he gets the walk right there. Gonzalez has not been very effective, but he has kept his pitch count reasonable into the bottom of the second inning. But he needs to start getting some guys out quickly and not waste a lot of pitches, which has been the problem for the White Sox starting rotation to this point. All 3 pitchers wasted a lot of pitches. The longest that anybody has gone this season out of the starting rotation through 3 games is Dallas Keuchel with 6. The runner goes, the throw down from McCann. He is out at second base. Jose Ramirez out at second base as McCann throws from his knees on a stolen base attempt. So the Indians trying to take a page out of the White Sox book early. Leury Garcia gets down that tag. McCann never leaves his knees. He throws that thing from his knees after taking a low pitch that brought him down to his knees. It was the only thing he could do. 1-1 the count now, and 1 out. As that is fouled off down the third base line. And Gonzalez sets, and the pitch on the way. And that is low and outside for ball 2. 79-mile-an-hour changeup. 1 out, bottom of the second, nobody on base. Gonzalez sets, and the pitch on the way. And that one is popped into right field. Garcia goes back. Mazara comes up. He will make the easy catch, and there are 2 gone. Jordan Luplow, the right fielder, steps up for the Indians as Gio Gonzalez goes into his wind with 2 outs in the pitch. And that is on the outside corner for strike 1. Luplow 1 for 5 over his career with 1 strikeout against Gonzalez. Gio looking to make quick work of him and stay on track. He blew a 2-run lead as that one is high for ball 1. The White Sox got him another one back. Could have gotten more in the top of the second. But Garcia gunned down, trying to advance on a short fly ball to Luplow, who's up at the plate right now. And Luplow gunned him down with room to spare, trying to advance that run while Jimenez stood on deck. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Gonzalez gets him swinging on an inside fastball, and that ends the second. James Fox up next to join us. Sox lead 3-2 over the Indians. Joining me on the phone line right now as I sit here in Progressive Field for a White Sox simulated season brought to you by Cork and Kerry at the Park. Go on Grubhub right now and get yourself some tasty food and sit back and enjoy a game. James Fox is on the line. The man is like an expert when it comes to all things White Sox. He's been with Sox in the Basement, joining us for the last 2 years on and off. He's broken several contract signings, and he's getting national recognition these days, and he joins us on the phone. How are you, James? How you doing?
Good, sir. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Major League Baseball has gone out and done an awful lot of negotiating with the Players Association to try to figure out every possible option for the season. And I've seen that they basically mapped out what if it starts at the end of May, what if it starts in June, what if we do 81 games, what if we have to cancel the whole thing, and they've had to come up with an agreement that's all in place. So these little milestones, it looks like, are there. First off, what do you think is most likely to happen with the Major League Baseball season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously all of us are just guessing, but I guess if I had to guess, I would say that we get some semblance of a baseball season, maybe not till July. But I would think probably 80, 81 games.
As Jimenez crushes one into the gap, Leplo on his horse makes a play near the track on the run for out number 1. Yasmani Grandal steps up. As you were saying, James,
this will be their trial run for extended playoffs. That's one of the things that's been floated, but I think it makes sense. If you take 3 division winners, 4 wild cards in each league, and look, there are the people that don't like that and think that that's watered down. But that's one of the ways for these owners to make back some of the money that they're going to lose. So I think that's the most likely option. I just have no idea when they're actually going to get started, obviously, like everybody else does. So, and they just negotiated their deal, and we can get into some of that if you want. There's a lot of stuff in there.
I know that with the draft, there's been some big stuff, and I know you've been critical of how that whole thing went down. So what exactly happened with the upcoming Major League Baseball draft, and why is it so bad?
Right away, it was leaked that the owners were considering not having a draft at all, which would have been absolutely absurd. I mean, it's like the lifeblood of an organization. But, it's known that owners don't like paying for it because some of them are so short-sighted that they don't understand the benefits of it. I mean, you're paying $10 million for a 40-round draft, and you might have $100 million in surplus value, gained. So,
swung on, charged in the center. Nice play by the center fielder, picking up off his shoestrings for the second out of the inning. And up comes James McCann.
They want to cut money wherever they can. And it seems like what's ultimately going to happen here is it's probably going to be a 10-round draft this year, but they're going to use that as their basis to move it from 40 to 20 rounds the next few years. And one of the, the factors in that, too, would be they can get rid of minor league affiliates, which has been Rob Manfred's plan this whole time. I mean, there's already 42 minor league affiliates on the chopping block. That's probably going to happen for sure. Now, the one thing about this that's a little bit weird is, this was pitched as a way for owners to save money while revenues aren't coming in. But then it's also been reported that they're going to use the same bonus pools from last year. So just using the White Sox as an example, if it's a 5-round draft with bonus pools from last year, they still have $7,700,000 or $7,700,000 to spend on the draft. If it's 10 rounds, it's over $8 million. That doesn't really save these guys a ton of money. What it does is, though, they're significantly deferring the bonuses for these kids. So every player that's drafted gets $100,000 this year. So that costs the owners $1 million this year for a draft, with the other 90% deferred. So the favorite to go number 1 overall whenever the draft is first baseman Spencer Torkelson from California. He's probably going to get about $8 million. Okay, think about that. He's going to get $100,000, and then he's going to get $4 million at some point next year and $4 million the year after. He's still getting the money, so it's fine. But that's one of the ways that these owners are saving money. But wiping out the minor leagues and suppressing salaries even further is the real end game here in all this.
McCann chops with a short, quick throw by Lindor in the dirt and scooped. And the White Sox are down 1-2-3 in the top of the third. James Fox, hang out with me for a few more minutes here. We'll talk to you in the bottom half of the third. Perez, Hernandez, Mercado are coming up with the Sox leading 3-2. James Fox from Future Sox on here talking about what's going on in the world of Major League Baseball as Roberto Perez, the catcher for the Indians, steps up to the plate. Even though he's not getting a lot in the first year, the first-round draft pick will eventually get everything that he would have gotten. That's right?
Yeah, for sure. So, like, those guys are fine. And the guys that, like, are definitely going for, like, your top high school players, your top players that are college juniors, it won't affect those guys at all. Now, who it really hurts, and you know, the NCAA is making a decision tomorrow as far as eligibility is concerned, and a lot of people are talking about seniors. This doesn't really even affect seniors at all. Seniors don't really have any leverage as it is. Now, the one issue there is undrafted free agents and day 3 players of the draft could make up to $125,000 before. Now that's capped at $20,000. So, look, seniors anyway, the White Sox took a bunch of seniors last year and paid them $10,000 a piece. So, you know, like most of these guys will still just like sign. They want to be pro baseball players. They end up being organizational filler for the most part anyway. Like $20,000 is fine. Now, the guys that it really affects are the high school players that aren't the top guys, because now they're forced to either like take less, like a lot less money to play pro baseball, or go to college while, you know, the roster is probably going to be increased there. And college juniors who, you know, might not be top 3 or 4 round selections. I mean, you're looking at guys now, if this draft ends up being 5 rounds and you're a college junior, you could either go back to school next year and be a senior and have no leverage, or some team might call and offer you like $100,000 to sign, and you're going to have to take it because your other option is to sign for $20K undrafted or go back to campus as a senior when when you probably, you won't have any leverage to get any more than that next year. So those are the college juniors, and then a lot of the guys in the high school class are the guys that are hurt the most by it.
As this one is skied into the right field gap, drifting back over to right where Mazzaro's at the wall, and he will watch it go over. The 9-hitter in the lineup, Perez, the catcher. It's a solo shot off of Gio Gonzalez, and we have a tie ball game here at Progressive Field. The Indians tie it up with the White Sox, still no outs in the third on a solo shot. The lineup flips over. Cesar Hernandez will come up to the plate. He got a hold of that one and pops it out there 404 feet. It went out into the gap, and then the wind, which seems to be blowing left to right across the field, dragged it back over Mazara, but it still seemed to push it out into that second row. And the very first pitch from Gonzalez is a base hit that lands in front of Luis Robert. So still no outs, runner on first, and the game is tied here in the bottom of the third. James, let's continue.
So is it safe to say, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is it safe to say that Major League Baseball seems to have used what's going on right now in the world to their advantage to be able to push to lessen the amount of Major League Baseball teams and gain more leverage over draft picks where they can end up paying them less?
Oh, 100%. Don't let a crisis go by the wayside, right? That's like the old political adage there. That's just kind of like, in crisis, make sure you can get stuff done. And that's exactly what they did. I mean,
so what other things do you think that if they do a shortened season and they go, let's say, 81 games, and we don't know if that's for sure or not, what other things do you think that Rob Manfred and the owners will put into place? Are we going to see other rule changes because they're going to say, well, we have to do this? I've heard things floated like, well, what if we add a bunch of double headers so we can get the games in, but then we're going to add in this whole thing where once you get to the 10th inning, there's a runner that's starting on second base. Like all these little rule changes have been batted about. You could see Major League Baseball use this to justify it and introduce it to the fans and then just keep it in place later on down the line, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how much stuff he's going to put in place for this year. I definitely think you're going to have expanded rosters, which would actually, for the fans, would actually be a good thing. Like, I think in White Sox camp, we were debating who the 26th man was going to be, and I made a joke the other day that said Yerman Mercedes for 29th man, because, the report came out that they might keep, 28 guys now, because whenever they get back to their minor league facility or their spring training facilities, they're probably only going to take 14 days to 3 weeks to get ready. So they'll probably expand the rosters. I really don't know what else they'll try to stick in there. The one thing I did say was the expanded playoffs. I think that's coming probably. That's one way, where that's your trial run for it, basically. And I do think, we might get some sort of like neutral site World Series, just because like if they're going to play, and apparently the players have agreed to play like into November, so you know what I mean? Like if that's two cold weather cities, like that thing's getting moved. I mean, I think that's common sense.
Ground ball to Garcia, puts the tag on the runner, flips the first, and that is a double play. James Fox on the line, and we're gonna wrap this thing up here, James. That was a great play there by Leury Garcia, and then getting it over there, he scoops it, he makes the tag at the runner running by him, who can't avoid him, and gets that thing over the first place for the double play. 2 outs to Lindor as he takes the first pitch inside for a ball. As that is skied into center field, Luis Robert underneath it. My thanks to James Fox from Future Sox as Robert puts it away. 3-3, and the bottom of the third is over. We head to the top of the fourth. You are listening to White Sox Simulated Baseball from Sox in the Basement. Interesting conversation with James Fox there in the third inning. Unfortunately, during the conversation, the White Sox give up a run. It is now 3-3 going into the top of the fourth inning. And Nomar Mazara steps up to the plate. That shift that we've been talking about the teams are using on him is on. He beat it last time up with a double, and he stands up there now 0-1. Next pitch is high and inside for ball one. Mazara takes the next one outside for ball two. Fourth inning, Savale has struggled. 62 pitches thrown so far as he's facing his first batter of the fourth inning. At this rate, he will not last long as this one is fouled down the first base line into the crowd, out by the right fielder. The pitch, low and outside, ball three, full count to Nomar Mazara as Luis Robert stands on deck. No score early right now, Yankees and Rays. Houston and Oakland later on today. As that is swung on a low pitch down at his feet and missed for strike three. Mazara chases junk on a 3-2 count against a tired pitcher, and he will grab some bench. 1 out in this inning. Luis Robert steps up to the plate, and Luis takes the first one on the inside corner and a cut fastball, 89 miles an hour for strike one. Popped out in the second inning. He looked a little frustrated after that bat. I think he felt like he had gotten good contact, and in the end, it was not. The Marlins leading the Nationals 3-0 early on in their game. Rojas, 2 for 3 with a home run already. Phillies over the Mets right now, 1-0 on a Segura home run. That game in the fourth inning. Pitch on the way. And that is a high strike, 2-2 the count to Robert as Aaron Savale gets ready for his 70th pitch of the game here in the top of the fourth inning with 1 out. Sox have to continue to work this pitcher and scrape some runs together. As this one is flared out into right field, it'll land near the foul line, but there's a guy underneath it as Ludlow puts it away for the Indians, and there's 2 down, and Leury Garcia comes up 1 for 1 with a single and a ribby here in the top of the fourth inning with 2 outs. And that's a low fastball that he grounds to first. He's going to try to beat the pitcher to the bag. He does not. It was close, but it's the third out, and the Sox go down 1-2-3 for the second straight inning. Mid-fourth, 3-3. Sox Indians. Franmil Reyes, the designated hitter, 1 for 1 in this game with a single and an RBI, will lead off the inning for the Indians as Gonzalez brings the pitch to the plate. Inside corner fastball, 91 miles an hour for strike one. And Gonzalez sets and brings it again. And that is low for ball one. Folks, I want to tell you a little bit about Family Waterproofing Solutions, one of the proud advertisers here on Sox in the Basement. They heard about the simulated season. They said, we're in. And they're doing it even though they're not actually out doing any work right now on basement waterproofing and sump pumps and fixing the problems that you have in the most important part of your house, your foundation. And they're doing that because even though they were designated an essential service, they're doing their part and paying their employees to stay home and giving them full health care as they do, as this one is flied out deep to Mazara, makes an over-the-shoulder catch for out number 1. And Carlos Santana, the first baseman, steps into the plate with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth. Ken's a U.S. Marine. I went over to this man's office. We sat separated by a great distance just a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about this before things got even more restricted. And the ribbons and the things he has up on his wall, that man not only served, but he served. I'll tell you that. And he and his wife own the business, which makes it a veteran-owned business and a female-owned business. And they told their employees, stay at home. We're going to video conference with any potential customers so that we can diagnose and figure out what we can do and give estimates so that when, and as he said it, when we can put boots on the ground again, we're ready to go to serve you. So So if you've been sitting around, and I know a lot of people are in their house, they're noticing things that need to get done because you have a lot more time on your hands. As it's 3-2 right now. Jose Ramirez on deck. 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. Gio Gonzalez about to bring pitch number 47. He's done well on his pitch count today. The pitch on the way. And then it's low, ball 4. There's a 2-2 count. He threw 2 of them outside. Well, 1 outside and 1 low, and Santana standing on first base next to Jose Abreu. And Jose Ramirez now steps up to the plate. He walked and was thrown out from James McCann's knees the first time he was up when he tried to steal second base. The pitch from Gonzalez, and that's flared off down the first base line. So you're going to hear coming up here at the end of this inning, the end of this half inning, details on how you can reach out to Kenna Maria. Because right now all I'm doing in my basement is this one is flared out in the right. It's going to fall in, but the runner was not going. Santana is out on the force at second base. He hesitated as it was flared out because he thought Mazara or Garcia would get to it, and when they didn't, he was hung out in no man's land as it dropped in between the two of them and bounced into Mazara's glove. He doesn't even have to put that much on it. He flips it over to Tim Anderson, who's standing there, Johnny on the spot, and they will force out at second base Carlos Santana for the second out of the inning. And Ramirez stands on first. And remember, he went last time as Domingo Santana, the left fielder, steps in. Will he try to steal second again? He's dancing down at first base trying to get Gonzalez's attention. I'm surprised when runners think they can steal off a left-handed pitcher, as this one is flared out in the center field, and that's a can of corn for Luis Robert. The White Sox are through. The bottom of the 4th, we go to the top of the 5th, the top of the order. Coming up, Anderson, Moncada, Abreu tied up 3-3 in Cleveland.
Foundation issues not properly handled can be costly. Family Waterproofing Solutions is owned by Ken, a veteran of the United States Marines, and his wife Maria, making them a veteran-owned business and a female-owned business that will diagnose and repair wet or leaky basements. During the current health crisis, Ken and Maria decided to pay each and every one of their workers, secure their jobs, and continue to give them health care from home. And while they're not currently going out and doing jobs, they will still give you an estimate and jump on and do a video consultation right now. Plus, part of the proceeds for every job that they do are donated to veteran and first responder organizations who support our frontline defenders. And currently, Sox in the Basement listeners have access to special pricing when they contact Family Waterproofing Solutions now, 708-330-4466, or visit them today at FamilyBasementWaterproofing.com.
Tim Anderson is 2 for 2. He's got 2 singles and a run scored. The man hit .335 and got the batting championship last year, and he is off to a hot start in 2020 as well in the leadoff spot for the Chicago White Sox. I was one of the first people to say I didn't like the idea of Anderson in the leadoff spot, is Adam Plutko is now warming up the right-hander in the Indians' bullpen in case Savali can't make it through the 5th inning. 1-0 the count to Tim Anderson. And the pitch is a called strike down the middle of the plate on an 87-mile-an-hour cut fastball that Anderson could not pull the trigger on. Pitch number 74 here from Savali. Then is low and off the foot of his catcher. He will reset. TA hitting the ball early on here, and I was one of the first people who said, nuh-uh, not the leadoff spot, as he swings through a sinker for strike 2, 2-2 the count. But he has proven me wrong, at least early on, as he's looked sharp up there. And that one is chopped back off the backstop, and they'll reset 2-2 to Anderson and the pitch. And that is a ground ball third base. Ramirez pulled towards the bag, long throw from the foul line to the other foul line, and he will get Anderson by a half a step. And that's the first out of the inning. And Yoan Moncada steps in. He's got a walk and he's got an RBI. Those are the only positive stats he has now through 3.5 games as he tries to get off the snide. And that one is flared down the left field line into the stands, a couple sections short of the foul pole for a long strike. The next pitch is inside, call the ball 1-1. Now here's a guy I thought would be great in the 2 spot, and early on, I'm being proven wrong again. It's funny on my own baseball simulation how wrong I am. As that one is chopped to second base, easy play, 4-3. And Moncada's out yet again on pitch number 80 from the Indians starter. 2 outs and Jose Abreu steps up, hitting .462 on this young season, 0 for 2 so far in this game. It's very different from what I thought last year. Last year I was like, Moncada, going to be a star, and he was. And I know we're early in the season, but he's starting to make me nervous. First pitch of ball, second pitch flared into right field for a base hit. And Jose Abreu is on with 2 outs. The veteran, he goes up there and approaches it the same way every time. It's Eloy Jimenez steps in there with a runner on base. A couple innings ago, Eloy was standing on the on-deck circle as he takes a strike there with the bases loaded and 1 out. And that was a shallow fly ball to right field. And you got to question the decision to send Leury Garcia home because he was out by so much. With one of the hottest hitters in baseball, not just on the White Sox, in baseball, standing in the on-deck circle. As your 4-hitter in Eloy Jimenez. He's quickly 0-2 though here. Civale tries to finish the 5th inning. The pitch on the way. Low, ball 1 on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball that just started to die as it was coming in. Abreu with a slight lead at first base. Jimenez sets the pitch. Low, ball 2. Good eye there by Jimenez. Very pretty, partly cloudy day out here at Progressive Field, but cold. A lot of people in warm weather gear. It looks pretty, but the wind is whipping left to right. As this one is low and outside on a cut fastball, and he comes back from 0-2 to a full count with Yasmani Grandal standing in the on-deck circle and a 3-3 tie with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. The pitch on the way. Swung on and sent down the third base line, foul over the ball boy in the outfield area, and they'll reset. Pitch number 89 here in the top of the 5th inning on the way. And that's outside for ball 4. Jimenez will take his base. He has 2 walks on the day today. And now there are 2 on. After Civale had gotten through the first 2 batters, he gives up a base hit to Abreu. And then after going 0-2 on Jimenez, walks him on the next 4 pitches. And Yasmani Grandal steps up with a double already in this game. He's DHing to give his knees a rest. McCann is catching. He's the DH in the 5 spot. And he swings through a sinker to tailed away for strike number 1. Fans trying to egg on their pitcher. The pitch on the way. And that one is popped up into dead center field. And that is out number 3. Midway through the 5th, we're still tied at 3. There was a lot of offense early on, but now Luplow, Perez, and then Hernandez at the top of the order for the Indians will have to be held down yet another inning by Gio Gonzalez as Jordan Luplow steps up to the plate. 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the 2nd inning. Gio Gonzalez, 50 pitches through 4 innings. He's done a good job of, he's a veteran. He's done a good job of conserving his pitches. The pitch, 2 pitches, 2 balls, he's 2-0, and both of them missed badly. The second one almost sent the batter to first base on a hit by pitch. The next one is outside, but he chased and chopped it down the first base line, 2-1. He did Gonzalez a favor there as he's in the windup and the pitch on the way. And that one's high for ball 3. 4 pitches, he has not found the zone, and he's looked bad. The batter did him a favor on pitch number 3, and that's why it's 3-1 the count. As Gonzalez into the wind with the pitch. And that is a strike, swinging. 3-2 the count. Gio Gonzalez trying to give his team a chance to get some runs and get this win in a tie ball game. Walks him on an inside pitch. And you can't glare at anybody there, Gio, because every one of those that was called a ball was clearly a ball by at least 1.5 feet. Roberto Perez steps up. He had a solo home run off of Gonzalez. Only his 2nd hit of the season to this date. And now he's got a runner on first. And Gonzalez stares in, and the pitch. And that is a strike on an 81-mile-an-hour changeup that Perez wishes he would throw him again, because you could tell he regretted not jacking that one out as well. Gonzalez sets in the pitch. That's high on a 4-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour, called the ball, 1-1 the count. The Marlins up now 7-0 on the Washington Nationals, taking it to him. The pitch on the way, swung through a changeup. He was looking fastball. He was way out in front of that one, 1-2 the count. Gonzalez going changeup, fastball, changeup. Will this be a fastball? Perez is going to guess. And that one's high on a 2-seam fastball. He has thrown the same pitch on pitch 1 that he threw on pitch 3, the same pitch on pitch 2 that he threw on pitch 4 in the same location. He pitches pitch number 5, and that is a changeup in the exact same spot. It was as if he was playing a video game. He throws a changeup low in the strike zone for a strike. He throws a high fastball. He throws a changeup low in the strike zone for a strike. He throws a high fastball. And then he throws a changeup low in the zone for a strike, and Perez just watches it sail by at 80 miles an hour. And he's out number 1. But the top of the order up now with Cesar Hernandez, the pitch from Gonzalez, and that is fouled off down the first base line. He did not throw him a changeup there, because everybody in the ballpark would be expecting that. And that's probably why Hernandez was behind on that pitch and fouls it down the first base line. 0-1 the count, 3-3 score, bottom of the fifth, 1 out, the pitch. In the dirt, blocked by McCann. Now it gets away. The runner on his way to second to throw, and he is safe. He was not planning on stealing. Ball gets away. It's going to be called a wild pitch. McCann got up, got to the ball. Runner went when he saw it roll away from him. At first it looked like he had trapped it under his body, but instead it rolled just outside the dirt in the batter's circle at home plate towards the first base side. And Luplow gets to second a hair before the throw comes from McCann on his delayed steal after the wild pitch. Inside changeup, though, on the very next pitch, sends Hernandez back to the dugout, strike 3, as he swings through a bad pitch. He got fooled. He did one of those protective swings where you're backing away from it because you know it's going to hit you. And he kept swinging, and he is the second out of the inning for the Indians. So runner on second because of the wild pitch. 2 outs. Mercado to the plate. 3-3 tie in the bottom of the fifth. It's a borderline call, but it's going to go for a ball on the changeup. Lower outside part of the plate, 1-0 the count. Oscar Mercado 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored in the first inning. Pitch number 66 on the way here in the bottom of the fifth inning as Gonzalez has had to work. And that is swung on and missed on a 79-mile-an-hour inside changeup at the knees. 1-1 the count, the pitch on the way. Swung on and belted, and great play by Abreu. It skips off the base. He's on his knees. He throws his glove up over his head, and no Seams grabs that ball. I don't even think that was instinct right there. And they're out of the inning as he tags first. 3-3 after 5. Adam Plutko will come in for the Indians now for the top of the sixth inning in a 3-3 tie after the White Sox get lucky. Because if that gets over Abreu's head, that runner scores from second base with 2 outs. And the Indians would have the lead. James McCann catching today and hitting in the 6th spot. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Hit .273 last year with 18 home runs and 60 RBIs, but did most of his damage in the first half of the season. And went from being an all-star to not only a guy who's splitting time, but really a backup at the catcher position. And I'm sure Ricky Renteria wants to keep him fresh and in the lineup, but it can't be a good thing for his morale to go from the role that he had etched out for himself in the first few months of 2019 to the role he has now. As that first pitch is a ball and the second pitch is flared into right center field. It'll fall in front of the center fielder cutting over, and McCann is his first hit of the year, and he stands on first base here in the top of the 6th with no outs. Boston leading Baltimore 1-0 right now, midway through their contest, as Nomar Mazara steps up to the plate. The pitch, low, called a strike at the knees. Cincinnati was trailing Toronto 6-0 and has come roaring back late in that game, now trailing by 2, 6-4 in Toronto. McCann at first, 3-3 to score, 0-1 the count, no outs. The pitch from Plutko, chopped to third base, this could be 2, 5-4 to 3, and that's a double play. The bases are cleared now and there's 2 outs after Mazara hits into a double play to Jose Ramirez. It seemed like he was trying to pull it to right, and they have had on a shift for him when nobody's on. If the shift would have been on, that's a base hit or even a double. But instead, with the shift off for the first time in a while, they take the shift off and he hits it down the third base line. That's just bad luck. Luis Robert steps in with 2 outs and nobody on base, 3-3 tie game, top of the 6th. Adam Plutko would like to make quick work of him. The pitch, change up 79 miles an hour, called a strike. The pitch on the way. Low, slider. Ball 1, 1-1 to count. Leary Garcia on deck, and then it would be Tim Anderson if Robert can get something going here with 2 outs. The pitch. Low outside, caught the corner of the plate. 1-2 the count. I don't think Robert liked that call, but he's got to get back in there and work with what he's got. That one is way outside. Ball 2 taken. 2-2 the count. Gonzalez looks like he's coming out in the 6th inning, and I think he should with the amount of pitches that he's thrown. Like I said, he hasn't been Cy Young out there, but he's been effective, and if you can get through the 6th with only 3 runs given up, it's a quality start. And that's what you want from your 4th and 5th starters in the rotation at a minimum. That one is fouled down the line. Lupko giving chase, dives for it, and it skips off his glove, so Robert on a long strike will get another attempt, 2-2 the count, and the pitch on the way, swung on and missed on a high 91-mile-an-hour fastball in the zone. Robert goes down swinging. We are midway through the 6th, 3-3, Sox Indians. Francisco Lindor 0 for 2 in this game, and he will lead off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Cleveland Indians. He's got a fly out and a ground out, but he did get an RBI for his team. And that's why we're sitting here 3-3. Gio Gonzalez sets and pitches. That's inside. Almost hit Lindor, who's 2 for 8 against Gonzalez in his career. Ball 1. Gonzalez sets the pitch on the way. That is low for ball 2. If Gio Gonzalez gives you a good inning here, and you get out of it 3-3 with your 4-starter, as that one's fouled off, 2-1 the count, and he gives you a quality start, you could feel okay. He really only got in trouble once. And after he got in trouble in the 1st inning, he's pitched really well with the exception of a home run that just cleared the wall. He's gotten out of tough jams. He's looked bad against one batter, but then bounced back immediately as the count goes full on a foul ball by Lindor. 3-2 the count, bottom of the 6th, no outs, 3-3 score. Inside changeup fouled off down the third base line and will reset. So this is what you wanted from a Gio Gonzalez at minimum, and I think you'd be happy. As this one is flared out into left field to the wall in foul territory and catches it right in front of this 325 mark. That's in foul territory on the wall here. Next to the pole, he had his back up against it. He catches that in foul territory for the first out. And Franmil Reyes steps up and takes the first pitch low for ball 1. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Early on, it looked like it was going to be a softball game. Then both pitchers settled down and have gotten out of a few little jams here and there. White Sox had a golden opportunity early on in this game with the bases loaded with 1 out, made a base running mistake that could cost them dearly if they can't get any more runs in this game. Carlos Santana stands on deck, and it's 3-0. Gonzalez seemingly pitching around Reyes. But there, he throws a 4-seam fastball 90 miles an hour right down the middle, and he was taken all the way, 3-1 the count. Gonzalez into the wind in the pitch, inside ball 4, and he walks him on 5 pitches. He will pitch his 80th pitch when he tosses his first one here to Carlos Santana, who's 0 for 1 with a walk in the 4th inning. He had 281 last year and is in the 5 spot right now in this order, which is surprising to me. But that's how the Indians have put their lineup together this year. Low and outside, ball 1 to Santana. Gonzalez sets in the pitch, and he's outside, and that's checked up ball 2, and they are reaching over to the phone in the dugout to get somebody warmed up for the Chicago White Sox. Gonzalez sets in the pitch on the way. That's low for ball 3. Jose Ramirez is on deck, and 7 of the last 8 pitches pitched by Gio Gonzalez have gone for a ball. Steve Cishek and Jace Fry, double barrel action out in the bullpen on the 3-3 tie in the bottom of the 6th. And that one's low for ball 4. He walked him on 4 pitches. So Gio Gonzalez, I've been sitting here singing his praises. He's looked solid and kept his pitch count down. He got an out, and now he's walked 2. As this one is fouled off by Jose Ramirez deep down the third base line. He normally has a slow start. You hope that holds true right here with 2 on and 1 out. First and second, Gonzalez to Ramirez. High, ball 1, 1-1. Cishek and Fry are still probably a few pitches away here from even being ready. Gonzalez has to face these guys and get through this inning. The pitch. That's fouled off down the first base line, 1-2. Reyes at second, Santana at first. The pitch to Ramirez, low in the dirt. He swung at it and tipped it. They're going to say he tipped that. Looked like it was strike 3. It went off the bat. 1-2 the count, though, reset. The pitch on the way. And that is strike 3 on the outside part of the plate, letter high. Ramirez does not like the call. Says something to the umpire on the way back. But he's going to take a seat. And the White Sox now are 1 out away from getting out of this inning with 2 on. Gio Gonzalez now up on the mound. The pitch on the way to Domingo Santana. And that's strike 1. He's 0 for 2, 2 flyouts. They're banging the drum here at Progressive Field. Gio Gonzalez, it's gut check time. The pitch. That's a strike, 0-2. McCann is calling for it, and he's putting it there. They are playing catch right now as James McCann tries to work his starting pitcher through the end here of the 6th inning. 0-2 count. Runners lead. The pitch. Swung on and fouled back. That probably would have been a strike if he didn't get his bat on it and gotten him out of the inning. 0-2 count. Pitch on the way. Low. Changeup. Ball 1. 1-2 the count. Gonzalez sets. He brings it. Swung on and missed. Low fastball out of the strike zone. He chased it. Gio Gonzalez pumps his fist. The White Sox get out of a threatening inning And we'll go to the top of the 7th, tied up at 3 here at Progressive Field. Sacs Indians all tied up. Adam Plutko comes out here in the top of the 7th inning. He will get another inning of work for the Indians as Leury Garcia takes the first pitch. Change up low in the dirt for ball 1. And why not for Plutko? He only pitched 11 pitches in that inning. Sox have been sat down in order in the 5th and 6th innings. They have the bottom of their order up right now, and then it goes Anderson Moncada as a 1-1 pitch is fouled off, and Garcia is quickly 1-2. Plutko stares in at his catcher. The pitch on the way. Outside, ball 2, 2-2 the count. White Sox have had their chances early, but have not had very many chances here since Plutko got in. As this one is grounded to third base, Ramirez scoops it, throws it across his body for the easy out at first. 5-3, that'll go on your scorecard. And Leury Garcia sat down for 1 out in the top of the 7th inning. Tim Anderson comes up 2 for 3, hitting .467 here on this young season. He's yet to hit the long ball. You know he's itching to do it. He's been working on his bat flips all off-season, he told me. He actually set up a section down in his basement where he put some padding on the walls and he pretends to hit home runs and practices flips while his production team videos it so they can put it out on Instagram. That one's a ball, 1-1 the count. The pitch on the way. Low and inside, ball 2, 2-1 the count to Anderson. Moncada on deck, Abreu behind him with 1 out in the top of the 7th, 3-3 game. Swung on and missed a high fastball out of the zone, 2-2 the count. Plutko trying to get the second out in as many batters. This one, he makes contact in the right field, looping in front of the right fielder down the line, and it will fall in for a base hit. And Anderson is 3 for 4 standing on first base, and the White Sox have a base runner for the first time in several innings. And to be honest with you, I think the last time they had a base runner, it was Tim Anderson. Moncada stands in, the pitch on the way, outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Yoan Moncada. Tim Anderson's going. The throw down to second base, he is safe under the tag. Head first slide, it's his second stolen base of the game. That was also ball 2 to Moncada, 2-0 the count. As Anderson is now 90 feet closer to being the go-ahead run. The next pitch is swung on and fouled down the first base line. 2-1 the count to Yoan Moncada. The pitch on the way checks that one, ball 3. 3-1 the count. Anderson with a lead at second base. The pitch. Moncada lays down a bunt and he pops it up to the pitcher. He's trying to sacrifice Anderson over, and he pops it. He can't even get the bunt right, this poor young man, early on in the season. He's trying to move over the runner in a close game after Anderson steals second and pops the bunt attempt up in the air. And now there's 2 outs for Jose Abreu, who chops this one down the line, foul down the first base line. It wasn't a bad call. If you think about it, Anderson takes second. Moncada's been struggling. You want him to feel like he's part of the team. You see if he can move the runner along there. You put the bunt on. Or maybe he puts it on himself because he was swinging away until it was 3-1 the count. Tries to catch him off guard there, and instead pops it up to Plutko. Outside pitch called a strike that probably wasn't one. 1-2 the count now to Abreu with 2 outs, and Anderson on second here in the top of the 7th. Swung on and belted to third. Nice play by Ramirez from his knees. He gets up, and he will throw out Jose Abreu. The White Sox had something going, it felt like, here in the 7th. An ill-timed bunt attempt. It's 3-3 going to the bottom of the 7th. Sox Indians from Progressive Field. And now here in the bottom of the 7th inning, after a stirring rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game on a Monday, weird start time today, too. We've had some shadows at certain times in this game. Steve Cishek steps in. Not a bad day for Gio Gonzalez. A quality start. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 runs. And Cishek comes in, and he'll get the right fielder Luplow, and he'll get him on strike 1 on the outside portion of the plate. 0-1 the count. Cishek sets and delivers. And that is a strike. Slider tailing away. 0-2 the count. Cishek does not have a big windup. With nobody on, he still just sets his feet and brings it straight to the plate. As that's another slider tailing away, he does not chase this time, 1-2. 3-3 game, bottom of the 7th inning. We're currently in the bottom of the Indians order with Jordan Luplow up. It wasn't a bad game by Gio Gonzalez. He's given his team a chance. Sox bats were hot early. They stumbled a little bit out there. I don't blame the bunt I blame sending Leury Garcia home when you had a chance at a big inning, but you don't know what would have happened next. You don't know if Eloy Jimenez does something there, but it would have been nice to see what he does with the bases loaded and a pitcher on the ropes instead of just giving the Indians that third out on that ill-advised send from third to home on a short fly ball into right field. Strike 3 on a tailing fastball. It started on the inside portion of the plate and moved across like somebody was using a joystick. And he sets down his first batter. Cishek looking sharp, at least with the first batter that he faces. And that's the first out of the inning. Roberto Perez, who's got a home run in this game, and that's the reason why we're tied, comes up to the plate in a 3-3 tie. Low four-seam fastball, 1-0. Just misses, I think. Close to the knees. The ball has a ton of movement when it comes out of Cishek's hands. It just squiggles as it comes to the plate. That one there started outside the zone and then comes back inside the zone on an inside portion of the plate slider for a 1-1 count now. He throws the same pitch this time, and they're going to say he went 1-2 the count. So he fooled him on that pitch. 1-2 the count now. Cishek trying to move along through the 7th inning. That one tails away. It's grounded weakly to the pitcher. Over to Abreu for the 1-3 putout, and they'll toss it around the diamond. 2 gone. Cesar Hernandez now at the top of the order with 2 outs comes to the plate. The pitch. Outside sinker, ball 1. Righty versus lefty here. Remember, though, relief pitchers have to face 3 batters or finish the inning. Ground ball, first base. Abreu easily scoops it, steps on the bag, and just continues walking into his own dugout. A 1-2-3 inning for Cishek. We are tied 3-3 going to the top of the 8th here in Cleveland. Let's get some runs. Nick Whitgreen will come into the game for the Cleveland Indians. He's had 2 games and 3 innings this year so far. 4 strikeouts and a walk. He's not given up a run over those 3 innings. Lefties have yet to collect a hit against him. Righties are hitting .250 against him in that small sample size. Eloy Jimenez comes to the plate. 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a run scored. 31 home runs last year in 2019. 3 so far in this young season over 4 games. The first pitch, a 4-seam fastball high on the outer part of the plate, and he takes it for strike 1. And the second offering is high outside of the strike zone, 1-1 the count. The Indians have announced the attendance tonight on a cold Monday night is 13,742. Not a big crowd out here for this game. They've already had their home opener, though. So now it's like, wow, it's freezing. I'm not going out there tonight. Plus, it had an early start. 5 o'clock local time is when this game started. No real explanation for that. It is a 3-3 game here. 1-2 the count to Jimenez. The pitch on the way. High, ball 2. 2-2 the count. The White Sox have double barrel action as they try to figure out what they're going to do in the 8th inning. Kelvin Herrera is up along with Jace Fry. Slider inside, fouled off down the third base line. Jimenez will come back up to the plate. 2-2 the count for pitch number 6 from Whitgreen. And that is inside and high, ball 3, full count to Jimenez. Again, coming into this game is one of the hottest hitters in Major League Baseball through the first 3 games of the season. And here in game number 4, not a hit, but 2 walks. As he flies this out into the right center field gap, they are on their horses to the wall, and then it's gone! That is gone! Eloy Jimenez on a 3-2 pitch. Hits a high towering shot. The right fielder and the center fielder both moving at it at high speed. They caught up to the ball. The ball just continued to carry. And it hung up there, and it falls just over the wall before it even hits the stands in the gap between the wall and the stands. And the White Sox have a 4-3 lead here in the top of the 8th. On the 4th home run of the season, in his 4th game of the season, by Eloy Jimenez, on pace for 162 home runs in 2020 still. And that will tie him now in the major leagues for the most home runs in baseball at 4, as Yasmani Grandal steps in, and it has gotten very quiet here in Cleveland. And now, it'll be interesting to see if anything changes out in that bullpen. You did use Aaron Bummer in all 3 of the first 3 games. You have used Jimmy Cordero a few times. As this one is flared out into center field, it will not drop in, and it will be caught for the first out of the inning. That's a fly out 8 on your scorecard for Yasmani Grandal. 1 gone in the top of the 8th. As James McCann steps in. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to give Herrera a chance in this inning, but he's going to have to face 3 batters. He was shaky in his first spot. If you look at the way that Bummer has been used and the amount of times Cordero has pitched in the first 3 days, not everybody is always available to. Colome's there for the 9th, and you could always let Cishek start off the 8th inning because he looked sharp. So that's a possibility as well. 1-2 the count to McCann. Inside fastball. He looks at it for strike 3. And there's 2 outs now. 4-3 Sox. As after the Jimenez home run, 2 outs right away for Grandal, the DH, and McCann, the catcher, as Nomar Mazara steps up to the plate with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning and swings at a low 4-seam fastball for strike 1. 1 for 3 with a double and a run. Mazara has been plugging away and has provided some good offense for the spot he's hitting in the order, as this one is grounded out into, well, it was grounded to right field. He's thrown out 4-3 because of the shift, which is back on for him. They always know when to shift against that guy. So Mazara's out 4-3, got grounded all the way out the right field, and the second baseman had plenty of time to move over, field it, and throw to first. But Eloy Jimenez takes one deep, and the Sox lead 4-3. As we head into the bottom of the 8th inning, Oscar Mercado is up. Steve Cishek will remain in the game with double barrel action still working in the bullpen. And the pitch on the way, and that is a strike on the outside corner on a low 4-seam fastball. He looked extremely sharp. He may not pitch this entire inning, but why not give him an opportunity to take on the first batter? And that one is fouled off down the line by Oscar Mercado. 0-2 the count quickly as Cishek sets the pitch. That is grounded back to the pitcher. Easy flip over to first base. A 1-3 first out for Steve Cishek, who is cruising along. Now, Francisco Lindor will switch over to the other side. He has had a terrible time in this game. He has had a terrible time in this game hitting from the right side of the plate. And Ricky Renteria wants to keep him on the right side of the plate, so he's going to switch him back over, pull Cishek from the game, and bring in Jace Fry. And Fry will face Lindor. And the first pitch from Fry is inside for ball 1. Kelvin Herrera remains up in the pen, but now it'll be 3 batters before he can come in. But Renteria wanted to get Lindor back over on the other side of the plate because he had looked ugly all game over there. Although Fry is now 2-0 to Francisco Lindor. Franmil Reyes and Jose Ramirez are up next. Jace Fry with the pitch. That is a low inside strike for strike 1, 2-1 the count. Sox bullpen has done well to date. That is a swinging strike on a changeup. He was way out in front of it. That is strike number 2. 2-2 the count as Fry fights back. Lindor sets in the batter's box. Fry sets and the pitch. That one was borderline. That could have been strike 3. That's a questionable call there. It's letter high. It's hard to get those high strikes, and he didn't get it there. 3-2 the count. And the full count pitch on the way from Fry with a 4-3 lead. Swung on and missed on a high cut fastball out of the zone. He gets Lindor to chase. And Francisco Lindor probably would have preferred to hit from the left side of the plate. Ricky Renteria's move has worked out for him, at least with this batter. But Fry now will step in against Franmil Reyes, his second batter of the game he must face under the new rules by Major League Baseball. And this one is low and inside for ball 1. A single and an RBI for Franmil Reyes in the DH spot and the 4 spot in the lineup. And he would like nothing more than to tie this game up. That pitch is dribbled down the first base line. 1-1 the count. Carlos Santana, is up next. Then we will get to Jose Ramirez. We have a lefty-righty matchup again here. As Fry gets in the ground to Anderson. Anderson turns and throws across his body, and he's safe at first base. TA did not get enough on that ball. He makes a nice play and scoops, but he double clutches, and when he gets it over, he misses on Reyes by a half a step, and he is not a fast runner. And to prove that, Delino DeShields Jr. will come in to pinch run for him now. But he was able to beat out a ground ball to the third base side that did not take Anderson into the grass. That was not a hard one. It's now a stolen base attempt, and he's safe at second base. And we've got a runner on second with 2 outs now. That was a strike on the pitch. Delino DeShields steals. He gets right in there and goes on the first pitch. 0-1 the count. Anderson should have been able to make that play, folks. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. He only had to take a couple steps towards third base to make the play. It was the double clutch on the throw. Not enough put on the throw. We've seen that before from him, as this is swung on and missed. on an 82-mile-an-hour changeup to Carlos Santana, and Fry at least is 0-2 with 2 outs and a runner on second. The official score is that it's a base hit, but the scorer had to debate on it after the Anderson throw. This one is in the dirt. McCann traps it with his left foot, and the runner stays at second base, 1-2 the count. 4-3 score, bottom of the 8th, 2 outs. Fry with the pitch to Santana. Inside, almost hit him on the hip. 2-2 the count. This is Fry's third batter. Herrera could come in if needed. The pitch. Swung on and hit in the shallow right center field. Robert on his horse, and he makes the play. He did not have to dive, but he shoestrings that one. And the White Sox are out of the inning on what could have been a single and a run scored. Fry tips his cap to his center fielder. The Sox are out of the 8th inning, up 4-3. Dominic Leone will come in for the Indians here in the top of the 9th inning. He gave up a couple of runs in 2/3 of an inning already this year. Alex Colome warming up in the bullpen. He will have the 9th inning for the White Sox, and Luis Robert up at the plate right now in the top of the 9th, as Leone brings a slider on the outside part of the plate that's fouled off, 0-1. That last play by Luis Robert, when it came off the bat, as that is a swinging strike, quickly 0-2. When it came off the bat, you felt like that was going to die in front of him, and that was going to be a tie ball game. And he is so fast, and he was playing deep. He comes in and doesn't even need the dive. He just runs to that ball, catches it below his knee. He strikes out here, though. He's probably worn out from that amazing play he made. Strikes out on 3 pitches, swinging. And there's 1 out. But he makes a great play to save the run. So it's okay there, Ruck. Go back and get ready to play defense in the 9th. We got a lead. We want to keep it. As Leury Garcia steps in, and he swings at a low outside fastball in the dirt. Ugly pitch, but an uglier swing. 0-1 the count to Leury. 279 last year. Quietly hit 279 last year. Didn't feel that way, but he was very productive for the White Sox. And that's why he's one of those players that was always a borderline guy during the rebuild that has found his way as a regular member of this team when it's ready to move on from the rebuild. And he's 2-1 right now after 2 quick outside balls. The pitch on the way. Swung on and chopped the short. Lindor with a one-handed catch and an off-balance throw gets Garcia at first base. There are 2 gone, and Tim Anderson comes up 3 for 4 with a run scored in this game. He has been the rock up at the top of the lineup, and he will get another chance to bat here in the top of the 9th inning with 2 outs. The first pitch is outside for a ball, 95-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball. The pitch on the way, low, he takes that for ball 2. The way Moncada's been hitting, it almost makes sense to pitch around Anderson here and take your chances with Yoan. But wouldn't it be great if he pitched around him and then Yoan finally figured it out? The man is not going to go for the season. He's going to get it going at some point. The pitch. Outside ball 3, and he's clearly pitching around Anderson to get to Yoan Moncada, who has yet to collect a hit here as we sit in the 9th inning of the 4th game of the year. He's got a walk and an RBI. Those are his only positive stats, and I think 4 strikeouts on the season. I'd have to check that. That's a high pitch called ball 4. Anderson tosses the bat back and walks down the first base. And Yoan Moncada comes up 0 for 3 with the ugly pop-out sacrifice bunt. And you just hope that Yoan can get something going here. The pitch on the way. And that is a strike. 0-1 the count. Anderson has stolen twice. He goes here. Hit and run looked like it was on. He is safe at second base. Moncada swung at an outside pitch. He's 0-2. Ricky trying to do anything he can to inspire his 2-hole hitter to get him into the game. He calls the hit and run there. Anderson safe still. Outside pitch taken by Moncada. It's 1-2 the count with TA on second base. Anderson has 3 stolen bases in this game. 3 singles, 3 stolen bases. That was the closest he came to being out, though, as that was more of a hit and run than a straight-up steal. This one's low in the dirt, 2-2 the count now to Moncada. With a runner on second base, you would love to get that insurance run. Give Alex Colome a little breathing room here in the 9th inning, as he is sure to be starting that inning. and going for the save to give the White Sox a win here in the opening game of this series. Inside and low, ball 3 to Moncada. Leone seems to be nibbling now, hoping that Moncada will chase, which makes sense when you're going up against a guy who's been struggling. Abreu on deck, the pitch on the way. Inside, that was close, ball 4. Moncada was confident in that at bat, probably the most confident I've seen him early in this season. He took 2 borderline pitches he did not swing at, and he did not check up on anything that was in the strike zone. He came up with an attitude, and he was able to get on base. So first and second with 2 outs for Abreu. 4-3 lead for the Sox in the top of the 9th. And Leone is going to have to pitch to him. And that one is cracked down the third base line, fouls. It rolls behind the tarp. Leone resets, and the pitch on the way. Outside ball 1, 1-1 the count. Like we said before, Colome will start the 9th inning. That's assured. This pitch, inside fastball, swung through it. 1-2 the count. Looked like he was looking for a change. And that thing came in a lot faster than he thought it was going to come in. 1-2 the count. Anderson dancing on second, the pitch. That is high for ball 3. Every once in a while, you wonder if an umpire is squeezing a pitcher. If you're an Indians fan right now, you are convinced that the Indians are being squeezed by the home plate umpire. There have been a lot of close ones that have gone the White Sox way as they stayed disciplined in their 2-2 pitch on the way. That one's outside, clearly, and he was not disciplined. I'm going to stop talking, because every time I say somebody's doing well, they do the opposite. Abreu strikes out on an outside pitch that would have been ball 3. 4-3 White Sox lead going to the bottom of the 9th. Alex Colome comes in for his second appearance of the season. He's 1 for 1 on save opportunities with an inning in which he pitched the full inning on opening day, struck out 2, and remember, he inherited 2 runners when he came in because they had a 3-run lead. So he had to work with 2 guys on. Both runs that scored were not his, as his first pitch is outside for ball 1 to Jose Ramirez. The second one is inside ball 2 on a cut fastball. Both of those were close. Umpire's strike zone has gotten a lot smaller here late in the game. The pitch on the way. That is outside ball 3. It is clear that the umpire's strike zone has gotten smaller for both teams here late in the game. You have to throw that in the box. And you have to get it clearly inside of the box. As this one is lifted deep, and this is going to be a tie ball game, Jose Ramirez looks up. He took a low fastball inside at his knees and turned on it. He hits his second home run of the season, and we are all tied up here in the bottom of the 9th. Alex Colome gives up a solo shot to the first batter that he faces. And now the White Sox can only hope for extra innings. And that is disappointing, the way this team has battled today. The place is alive here in Cleveland. They're excited. I'm not excited. He takes that one out to left center field. It was a no-doubter. And the way he turned on a pitch that was just a tough pitch to hit. And he skies this one 417 feet into the air. And Alex Colome's got to reset now and be the guy that keeps the team in the game. As his first pitch swung through by Domingo Santana, who's 0 for 3 with a strikeout in the 6th, and it's 0-1 the count. So Colome blows the save. And now all he can hope for here is just keeping his team in the game, giving them an opportunity to win this in the later innings. The pitch, outside, ball 2, 2-1 the count. He's going to get this inning. He's the closer. Nobody's up for the Sox here. As that is swung on, 2-2 the count. I was thinking we were almost done here, folks. Now you're hoping for a longer game. Cut fastball down the middle, strike 3. Colome pumps his fist a little. He needs to get his confidence back after that home run. This place was already pretty much empty with 13,000 fans in attendance. And I think 3,000 of them left before the 9th inning started. They're probably in their cars regretting it. But about 10K are going to sit here and watch what happens in the end of this 9th inning, and hopefully in extra innings when our White Sox will get a run and be able to get out of the bottom of an inning after getting a lead and hopefully come away with the win still. Tyler Naquin is going to pinch hit, and he's going to take the first pitch up the middle on a ground ball, and he's on first base. So the winning run stands on first base. with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. We want to bring you all wins here as Sox in the Basement brings you a simulated season, brought to you by Cork and Kerry at the Park. We want all positive vibes as Bradley Zimmer comes in, now the pinch run. They are really using up the bench to try to win this thing. And Roberto Perez comes to the plate already with a home run. But we can't guarantee the endings of these games. The Sox have to come alive here and hand Cleveland their first loss of the season, which they are making very difficult, as that is a strike low at the knees, cut fastball, 0-1 the count. Zimmer is a threat to go, but he's not an automatic. Takes a big lead there as that changeup is fouled off. 0-2 the count. Colome sets, looks at the runner, the pitch on the way, outside swinging at a cut fastball out of the zone. He dragged him across the plate, and Colome gets the next guy. So 2 strikeouts after he gives up the tying home run to Jose Ramirez. And in the middle of those 2 strikeouts, of course, the single that has Zimmer, the pinch runner, now standing on first base, as the winning run, if he can be brought around. Cesar Hernandez stands up, top of the order again for the Indians. And this is grounded to Abreu. It goes off his glove and down to the corner in right field. Zimmer is on his way to third. The ball comes into the relay man. Throw over to second to try to get the runner. He cannot get him. Hernandez is in for a double. It was risky for him to go to second because it doesn't matter what happens to him if Zimmer can score. Zimmer stands on third, 90 feet away, as Oscar Mercado comes up 1 for 4 with a double and a run. And Colome needs to settle. He needs to settle down now, because a hit here wins the game for the Indians in walk-off fashion. 90-mile-an-hour cut fastball outside for ball 1. The pitch by Colome. That's an inside fastball call for a strike. 1-1 the count. Mercado's ready, waving the bat a little bit. Pitch on the way. Pops an outside pitch down the first base line. Abreu giving chase in foul territory and comes up just short of getting out of this inning. 1-2 the count as that gets just over his outreached glove. The next pitch is low for a 2-2 count. 2-2 the count. Colome sets the pitch. And that is fouled off down the first base line. Lindor is up next if Mercado were to reach base on a walk. The pitch from Colome. That is popped straight up into the air. McCann catches it behind the plate, and the Sox avoid disaster. They do have some trouble, though. Tie game, top of the 10th inning. White Sox, Indians, tied at 4. Jimenez will lead it off. Bradley Zimmer moves to right field now, as the Indians did a lot of substitutions over the last couple innings to get to this point. Hunter Wood will come in. This is his first appearance of the year. He had a 1.28 whip over 36 games and 45 innings last year. A 1-1 record, and he did get a save on 1 opportunity. Eloy Jimenez steps in 1 for 2 with 2 walks and a home run in the 8th inning that gave the Sox the lead. Kelvin Herrera is up for the White Sox in the bullpen here in the top of the 10th. The pitch from Wood is inside. 93-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball for ball 1. White Sox had this one, and then their closer came in and immediately gave up a bomb to the first batter he faced in Jose Ramirez. And then almost gave up the game. Had to pitch out of a jam to get the Sox through the 9th inning, and you doubt that he will be back for the 10th. And this is where the White Sox bullpen gets tested. Aaron Bummer has had 3 appearances in the first 3 games of the season. Jimmy Cordero has pitched 4 innings over the first 3 games of the season. It's unlikely either one of them are available. And if that's the case, you've got Carson Fulmer, Kelvin Herrera, Evan Marshall as your options out there, with Herrera warming up. 2-1 count now to Eloy Jimenez in the top of the 10th. That pitch is inside, 3-1. Eloy has 4 home runs in 4 games. It's hard to ask for a 5th, but can we please? The pitch, inside, swung on. He goes down to a knee and flies this one deep down the third base line, foul. He was trying. 3-2 count, the pitch on the way. Fouls that one off down the first base line. He's been a tough at bat for every pitcher that has faced him this season. The pitch. And he fouls that one off the plate and back to the backstop. 3-2 the count. The pitch on the way. And he fouls off another one. Good at bat here for Jimenez. 8 pitches this at bat as he fights one off inside. 3-2 the count, the pitch from Wood. And he grounds this one to first base. Ramirez scoops and throws, and they will get him by about a step and a half for the first out on the 5-3 putout. Oliver Perez warming up in the Indians bullpen right now as Yasmani Grandal steps to the plate in the designated hitter role. The pitch from Wood is high and outside for ball one. Sox still have their complement of players on the bench, so they do have some options if they need a pinch hitter. But right now, there isn't a reason to upset the apple cart. As this one is lifted into left center field, it's going to hang up there long enough to be caught near the track. And that is a long fly out for Yasmani Grandal. You could hear, if you were listening very closely, the gasp from the crowd because it looked like it was hit a lot harder than it was actually hit. And James McCann steps up to the plate, trying to get something going here with 2 outs in the 10th as he rips this one, and it will drop just in front of the left fielder who will bobble the ball but keep it in front of him. So a 2-out base hit from McCann as he rips a liner in the left that dropped real quick. And I feel like that outfielder thought he had a play and almost overran it, which would have been big for the Sox as Nomar Mazara steps up now with a runner on first and 2 gone. And he is quickly 0-1 with a ball fouled off towards his own dugout. Mazara's 1 for 4 with a double and a run. He's never had more than 2 hits in any one of the 4 games he's played in so far. The pitch. Outside corner, and that is a strike. And I'll be honest with you, if we were getting that pitch in the 9th inning, Ramirez might not have been able to hit that home run that tied the game. 0-2 the count. That one is low. Call the ball 1-2. Everybody got squeezed in the 9th. It was both teams, but now it seems like that squeezing is over here in the 10th inning. Umpire realized he might have to work overtime and not get paid extra. 2-2 the count on an inside cut fastball. Mazara trying to move McCann over. Be nice if he could get a hold of one right now. He is a power hitter. He has some pop to his bat. They're trying to unleash more pop as he fouls that one off. 2-2 still the count as the pitch is on the way. That is grounded off. They've made Wood work here. He's got 2 outs, but he's thrown 18 pitches in an inning of relief so far. Runner on first takes a lead, and that is fouled off as well. So White Sox hitters are making this pitcher work, but they need a few more of them to get down for hits here in fair territory. The pitch on the way, swung on and chopped to Lindor. He will handle it on 2 hops, throws it in the dirt, but it's nicely picked by Santana, who shows it to the ump, and the out is called. And the Sox go down in the 10th inning. We go to the bottom of the 10th where Lindor will lead it off for the Cleveland Indians, tied at 4 in extras. It'll be Kelvin Herrera's inning as he walks out here after giving up a run over 1 inning already in his first appearance. You can't have that here or this game would be over. And he will face Francisco Lindor, the 3, 4, 5 batters in the order here in the 10th inning. Lindor is only 1 for 6 with a strikeout all time against Herrera, but he finally gets to move over and bat from the left side of the plate for the first time all game. He had not done well from the right side of the plate. This one is outside, catches the corner, 0-2 here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Sox trying to get the first game of this 3-game series, which started early but is going to end on time and push us to our longest broadcast so far because we've gone to extras. This one is chopped, and it's chopped into a shift on Lindor to the second base side, to the right side of second base, where Tim Anderson is there on a shift on the other side of the bag. He scoops it and throws him out at first base, and there's 1 gone. And now the first pitch is inside for ball 1. Franmil Reyes is out of the game. Delino DeShields Jr., who was brought in as a pinch runner but never made it across the plate, is now in the 4 spot, but he gives this one a ride into the right center field gap, and that is off the wall. He's already rounding second. There's going to be a play at third, and he is safe under the tag. That is incredible. DeShields comes in as a pinch runner, steals a bag and puts pressure on the White Sox. Then he comes up in the 4 spot and hits a rocket in the right center field and turns it into a triple with his blazing speed. And he's 90 feet away with one out here in the bottom of the 10th inning for Carlos Santana. And the White Sox are going to intentionally walk Santana to first base. And they will also intentionally walk Jose Ramirez with one out here and the winning run on third base to load the bases up and give them an opportunity for a double play and get through the two most dangerous hitters in this order and get to Domingo Santana, who's 0 for 4 with a strikeout in the 9th inning and hit into a double play earlier. So it's good strategy if it works out, but you take the bat out of the hands of Santana and Ramirez here in the bottom of the 10th inning and load the bases up with one out. Herrera will get to the bottom of the order here and hopefully get out of this inning. The pitch on the way, and that is swung on for a base hit over the head of Anderson on the first pitch, and the Indians will walk it off. Kelvin Herrera gives up another run, 2 appearances, and he's giving up runs right now and not looking very good. The Indians swarm each other at home plate, and the White Sox will lose this one and drop to 2-2. The Indians going to 4-0. And you can't blame Gio Gonzalez. He gives you a quality start, 6 innings. And you can't blame Eloy Jimenez because that man, it just keeps hitting rockets and scaring pitchers and making plays. You can question the odd decision to send Leury Garcia. And you can always look at a guy like Alex Colome and wonder why, as the closer, he came in and made a pitch that was given up for a bomb that tied this thing. But in reality, there were some unsung heroes here. Delino DeShields Jr. with the bomb in the right center field that he puts off the wall and goes for 3, beating the tag with aggressive base running, put the White Sox in an untenable position. And even though they walked the 2 best hitters of the day and 2 of the best hitters in the lineup for the Indians to get to somebody lower, right away that guy makes you pay on the first pitch. And the Indians win this game 5-4 in the 10th inning. The Sox had the lead going into the 9th. They blow it. They are 2-2 on the season. We will see you tomorrow for Game 2 of Sox Indians from Progressive Field. Reynaldo Lopez takes the mound. You have been listening to a White Sox simulated season brought to you by Cork and Carry at the Park. Thank you for listening to White Sox Simulated Baseball from Sox in the Basement, found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at soxinthebasement.com. Bye-bye, everybody.
Sox in the basement. Sox in the basement. Sox in the basement.
Sox in the Basement. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always on soxinthebasement.com.